I'm 73 now, and I have learned to keep my money, my plans, and my pain private. Not because I have become cold, not because I do not trust anyone at all, and not because I want to live behind walls. I keep these things private because old age teaches you quietly that not every person who listens to you is protecting you. Some people listen because they care. Some listen because they are curious. Some listen because they want to measure what they can get from you. And some listen so they can use your own words against you later. That is a painful truth, especially when it involves family. When we are younger, we think openness is always love. We think if we tell people everything, they will understand us better. We think if we share our worries, they will comfort us. We think if we share our plans, they will support us. We think if we share our pain, they will become gentle with us. But getting older shows you something different. Some people love you, but they do not know how to protect your heart. Some people care about you, but only when your needs do not disturb their comfort. Some people call themselves family, but they treat your private life like a table everyone can sit around and discuss. And after a while, you begin to understand that privacy is not bitterness, it is wisdom. There are things I used to speak about too freely. I told people how much I had. I told people what I was planning. I told people what hurt me. I explained my fears, my disappointments, my loneliness, my regrets, and my hopes. I thought I was being honest, but honesty without discernment can become self-betrayal, because once certain words leave your mouth, you cannot call them back. Once people know where your soft places are, they may not always handle them with clean hands. Once they know what you have, what you fear, and what you are planning, they may begin to move differently around you. That is why, at 73, I speak less. And the less I speak, the more peace I have found. The first thing I keep private now is my money. I do not mean I hide important matters from the people who truly need to know. There are times when serious information must be organized, written down, and shared responsibly with the right trusted person. But that is different from telling everyone what you have, what you saved, what comes in every month, what goes out, who owes you, what you own, and how much you can afford. I used to think money was just a practical subject. If family asked, I answered. If someone wondered how I was doing, I told them. If I had a little more than expected, I did not think it was dangerous to mention it. But money changes the way some people look at you, not always immediately. Sometimes it is subtle. A relative hears that you have savings, and suddenly they have an emergency. Someone hears that your home is paid off, and suddenly they have suggestions about what you should do with it. Someone hears that you have a steady pension or retirement income, and suddenly they start speaking as if your money is sitting there waiting for family needs. They may not say it directly, they may not look greedy, they may even speak with softness, but you can feel the difference. Your money stops being your protection. It becomes a topic. It becomes a possibility. It becomes a silent invitation for people who never planned well to expect help from you. This is where many of us make the mistake. We think because we are older, we do not need much anymore, so we give too freely. We explain too much. We let people know too much. We feel guilty for having something saved while others are struggling. But listen carefully. In old age, your money is not just money. It is your independence. It is your ability to stay in your home. It is your medicine, your food, your repairs, your transportation, your care, your emergency, your dignity. It is the difference between choosing and begging. You may love your family deeply, but love does not require you to make your finances public property. A good heart still needs a locked door. Now, when people ask too many questions, I answer simply. I do not give details. I do not apologize. I do not explain every number. I have learned that a peaceful answer can be short. I'm managing. That is taken care of. I prefer to keep that private. I have made arrangements. Those words may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you spent your whole life explaining yourself. But the older you get, the more you understand that every detail you give can become a rope someone else pulls. If you remember nothing else, remember this: never let guilt talk you into exposing the very thing that protects your independence. The second thing I keep private now is my generosity. This may sound strange, but I have learned that even kindness needs privacy. When I was younger, if I helped someone, I sometimes told another family member, not to brag, but to explain. Maybe someone asked where my money went. Maybe someone wondered why I did not do the same for them. Maybe I wanted people to know I was trying to be fair. But generosity spoken about too openly can create problems. If you help one child, another may feel cheated. If you give one relative money, others may line up with their own needs. If you tell people you paid for something, they may begin to see you as available. And if the person you helped feels exposed, even your kindness can become a source of shame. I learned that some good deeds should remain quiet. There is dignity in helping without making it a family announcement. There is wisdom in giving without creating a pattern people can use against you. There is peace in deciding what you can do, doing it quietly, and not turning it into a discussion. But the hardest lesson came later. I learned that some people will not only ask for your help, they will study how much help you gave others, then use that information to pressure you. You helped her, why not me? You gave him that much, but you will not give me this? You always favor one person. You have money for them, but not for me. And suddenly, your kindness becomes evidence in a family trial. That is why I now believe generosity should have boundaries and silence. If you choose to help someone, do it because you have decided calmly, not because you were cornered emotionally. Do it in a way that does not endanger your stability. And do not feel forced to explain every act of kindness to people who are only looking for reasons to demand more. A generous person without boundaries becomes a tired person, and a tired older person can easily become resentful. I do not want to spend my later years angry because I gave more than I could afford, said yes when my spirit said no, or allowed people to confuse my kindness with obligation. So now I help when I can, but I do not announce it. Quiet kindness is safer than public sacrifice. The third thing I keep private now is my plans. Plans are delicate when you are older. You may be thinking about moving. You may be thinking about selling something. You may be thinking about changing your routine, traveling, downsizing, spending money on yourself, stopping a family habit, or choosing a different way to live. And sometimes, before the plan is even fully formed, you make the mistake of telling people. I have done this. I would say, I am thinking about moving somewhere quieter, and suddenly everyone had an opinion. I would say, I may sell that old piece of land, and suddenly people who never cared before were very interested. I would say, I may stop hosting the holidays, and suddenly I was selfish. I would say, I want to spend more time alone, and suddenly people acted as if peace was an insult to them. I did not understand this until I was much older. Some people do not oppose your plans because the plans are bad. They oppose them because your plans interrupt their expectations. They are used to you being available. They are used to you living in a certain place. They are used to your house being open. They are used to your money being predictable. They are used to your habits serving their comfort. So when you begin making plans for your own peace, they feel disturbed. And instead of saying, this change makes me uncomfortable, they say, that is not a good idea. Be careful who gets early access to your plans. A plan told too soon can be weakened by too many voices. People will pour their fear into it. They will pour their self-interest into it. They will pour their judgment into it. Before long, you may not know whether you are hearing wisdom or noise. Now I let my plans mature in silence. I think, I pray, I write things down. I ask the right questions. I get proper guidance when it is needed. I consider the consequences. I wait until I am clear. Then I share only what must be shared. There is a difference between secrecy and privacy. Secrecy hides something wrong. Privacy protects something unfinished. Your plans do not need to be announced while they are still tender. Some dreams die because they were exposed too early to people who never wanted you to change. The fourth thing I keep private now is my pain. This may be the hardest one because pain wants to speak. When you are hurt, you want someone to understand. When you are lonely, you want someone to notice. When family disappoints you, you want to say, "Do you not see what this is doing to me?" When your heart is tired, you want relief. There is nothing wrong with needing comfort, but not every person deserves to see you wounded. I learned this slowly. I used to tell people when I felt forgotten. I told them when a phone call hurt me. I told them when I felt left out. I told them when I was scared of becoming useless. I told them when the house felt too quiet. I told them when I missed the old days. Sometimes they listened. Sometimes they comforted me, but sometimes they became defensive. Sometimes they dismissed me. Sometimes they said I was too sensitive. Sometimes they used my pain later as proof that I was needy, weak, bitter, dramatic, or difficult. And that kind of response can wound you twice. The first wound is the pain itself. The second wound is realizing you gave your pain to someone who did not respect it. And this next one is painful because it often involves family. Some people do not know how to sit with an older person's sadness. They want you cheerful, simple, grateful, and easy. They want your stories, your cooking, your help, your blessings, your smile. But they do not want your grief. They do not want the full weight of what age has done to your heart. So they rush you. Do not think like that. You should be grateful. Other people have it worse. You are always talking about the past. You need to get over it. Those words may be spoken casually, but they can close something inside you. Now I am careful with my pain. I do not pretend I have none. I do not act like strength means silence at all times. But I choose carefully who hears the deepest parts of me. Some pain belongs with God. Some pain belongs in prayer. Some pain belongs in a private journal. Some pain belongs with one trusted friend. Some pain belongs with someone trained to help. And some pain simply needs time before it becomes words. Do not place your wounds in careless hands and then blame yourself when they are mishandled. Your pain is not entertainment. It is not family gossip. It is not a tool for others to judge your character. It is part of your human life, and it deserves respect. A quiet heart is not an empty heart. Sometimes it is a heart that has finally learned where not to bleed. The fifth thing I keep private now is my disappointments with family. This one took me many years. When family hurts you, the urge to speak can be very strong. You want to tell another relative. You want someone to confirm that you are not imagining things. You want someone to say, "Yes, that was wrong." You want a witness to your pain, so you talk. You tell one person what another person did. You share the details. You explain the history. You reveal the little moments that added up over the years. At first, it feels like relief. But family pain spreads quickly when spoken in the wrong rooms. One person tells another. Someone changes the tone. Someone leaves out the part that matters. Someone says you are complaining. Someone says you are causing division. And soon, the original hurt becomes smaller than the drama created by discussing it. I have learned that not every family disappointment needs to become a family conversation. Some things need to be handled directly. Some things need to be forgiven quietly. Some things need distance. Some things need time. And some things need to be left alone because speaking will only create a bigger wound. When I was younger, I thought proving my pain would bring justice. Now I know peace is often better than being proven right. That does not mean allowing mistreatment. It means choosing your response with care. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, you can set a boundary without announcing your whole case to everyone. If someone disappoints you, you can step back without turning the family into a courtroom. If someone hurts you, you can protect yourself without trying to recruit supporters. The older I get, the less I explain myself to people who only hear what they want. I have wasted too much breath trying to make others understand what they were committed to misunderstanding. Now I ask myself, will speaking about this bring peace, clarity, or change, or will it only create more noise? That question has saved me many times. Not every truth needs an audience. Some truths only need a boundary. The sixth thing I keep private now is my fear. Fear visits older people in ways younger people may not understand. Fear of falling, fear of sickness, fear of running out of money, fear of being forgotten, fear of becoming dependent, fear of losing memory, fear of being alone at the wrong moment, fear of becoming a burden, fear of what will happen when you can no longer do what you once did. These fears are real, but I have learned not to hand them to everyone. Some people respond to your fear with compassion, others respond with control. You tell someone you are worried about falling, and they immediately decide you should not live alone. You tell someone you are worried about money, and they start asking questions about your accounts. You tell someone you are afraid of being lonely, and they treat you like a problem to be managed instead of a person to be loved. Help is good when it comes with respect. But help mixed with control can make an older person feel trapped. That is why I have learned to share fear wisely. I do not hide important concerns that need action. If something must be addressed, I address it. If I need support, I try to ask clearly. If I need advice, I seek it from the right place. But I do not pour every anxious thought into people who will use it to take over my choices. Fear should guide preparation, not surrender. If you are afraid of falling, prepare your home. If you are afraid of illness, organize information. If you are afraid of loneliness, build small routines and connections. If you are afraid of being forgotten, create meaning in your days beyond waiting for others. But do not let fear make you give away your authority too quickly. Many older people lose pieces of their independence not all at once, but through repeated moments of fear shared with people who confuse protection with control. Be honest where honesty is needed, but stay awake. The person who helps you should make you feel steadier, not smaller. The seventh thing I keep private now is my next weakness. That may sound unusual, but let me explain. Everyone has weak places. Maybe you are too lonely. Maybe you are too generous. Maybe you are afraid of conflict. Maybe you feel guilty easily. Maybe you cannot bear disappointing your children. Maybe you panic when someone threatens to leave. Maybe you crave appreciation so badly that a few kind words can make you say yes to things you should refuse. We all have tender places, and over time, certain people learn them. They learn that if they sound helpless, you will give money. They learn that if they become angry, you will apologize first. They learn that if they mention family duty, you will forget your own needs. They learn that if they ignore you for a while, you will accept anything when they return. This is difficult to admit, but old age requires honesty with yourself. Some people are not guessing how to pressure you. You have shown them. You showed them by saying yes too quickly, by explaining too much, by giving after saying you could not, by answering every call, by apologizing when you did nothing wrong, by revealing how afraid you are of being abandoned. This is where privacy becomes protection. You do not need to tell everyone what still hurts, what still tempts you, what still frightens you, and what still makes you weak. You need to understand it yourself, so you can guard it. If loneliness makes you vulnerable, do not make major promises when you are feeling abandoned. If guilt makes you weak, do not answer pressure immediately. If money requests confuse you, give yourself time before responding. If family criticism breaks you down, limit the conversations where criticism is common. If silence from someone makes you desperate, do not reward their absence by giving them full access when they return. Practical wisdom is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is simple. Pause before answering. Sleep before deciding. Write things down. Keep some thoughts to yourself. Ask, am I choosing from peace or from fear? That one question can protect you from many regrets. Your weakness does not make you bad. It makes you human, but your weakness should not be handed to people who have already shown they will use it. As I have grown older, I have become quieter. Some people mistake that for sadness. Some think I have less to say. Some think age has made me distant. But I know the truth. I am not empty. I am careful. There is a difference. I still love. I still care. I still pray for people. I still hope certain relationships soften before time runs out. I still believe family can be beautiful when it is built on respect, but I no longer believe that love requires full exposure. I no longer believe that every question deserves an answer. I no longer believe that every pain must be explained. I no longer believe that every plan must be announced. I no longer believe that every person close to me should know everything inside me. Some parts of your life must be protected if you want peace. Your money needs privacy because your independence matters. Your plans need privacy because your future deserves room to grow. Your pain needs privacy because your heart deserves gentle hands. Your generosity needs privacy because kindness should not become a public contract. Your disappointments need privacy because not every wound needs a crowd. Your fear needs privacy because support should not become control. Your weakness needs privacy because not everyone will handle your humanity with honor. This does not mean you should live suspicious of everyone. That is no way to grow old. Suspicion can become its own prison, but discernment is not suspicion. Discernment is the quiet ability to know who gets access, how much access they get, and when access must end. You can be warm and still private. You can be loving and still careful. You can be generous and still firm. You can be honest and still selective. You can be old and still in charge of your own life. That last part matters, because many people think aging means slowly handing yourself over to everyone else. Your choices, your home, your money, your schedule, your heart, your memories, your future. They think getting older means becoming available for inspection. No. Old age does not erase your right to privacy. If anything, it makes privacy more important. When your energy becomes limited, you must choose carefully where it goes. When your time feels more precious, you must stop wasting it on unnecessary explanations. When your heart has been through enough, you must stop placing it in careless rooms. At 73, I have learned that a peaceful life is not built by telling everyone everything. It is built by knowing what to share, when to share, and with whom. It is built by keeping certain matters between yourself, God, proper documents, trusted people, and your own quiet judgment. It is built by refusing to let guilt open doors that wisdom has closed. I wish I had learned this earlier. I wish I had spoken less when I was hurt. I wish I had kept certain plans quiet until they were ready. I wish I had not told people so much about my money. I wish I had understood that not every person who asked was asking out of love. But regret can still become wisdom if we let it teach us. So if you are listening to this and you are over 60, over 70, or simply old enough to understand, take this gently. You do not have to become cold. You do not have to shut everyone out. You do not have to stop trusting every person. But you do have to stop handing your private life to people who have not earned the right to hold it. Some things are too valuable for careless conversations. Your peace is one of them. Your dignity is one of them. Your independence is one of them. Your heart is one of them. Keep your money quiet. Keep your plans quiet until they are strong. Keep your pain away from people who turn wounds into gossip. Keep your fears in wise hands. Keep your generosity free from public pressure. Keep your spirit protected from those who only come close to take, judge, or control. A quiet life is not an empty life. Sometimes it is the strongest life you can choose. If this message speaks to you, share your age in the comments. Tell me whether you have learned to keep certain things private as you've grown older. You may find that many others have learned the same quiet truth. And if no one has reminded you lately, let me remind you now, your life still belongs to you. Your peace still belongs to you. And you are allowed to protect what remains of your heart.